Hey everybody, I'm so glad you are back for day 2 of our 3-part brag tag training. Today's brag tag training has everything to do with organization and storage, prep tips, and how exactly to implement those brag tags. First, we're going to talk about ideas for ways that your kids are going to put their brag tags or store their brag tags, I should say. The most common way that this is actually the system I prefer, would be the necklaces, the chain necklaces. Now, the reason I like these is because the kids love to wear them, and they are a nice way to just display them and keep them visual for the kids as a reminder for what they're earning. The one downfall that I will say, and I'm going to be transparent, is if you have little ones like first graders or kindergartners, these might be tough for them to open. With my second graders, I might have one or two that have a hard time. Those one or two are going to ask their friends for help, and it's worked for me. I have heard from teachers over the past few years that some of them say that these necklaces are too hard. So if that is the case for you, or you teach the little ones, I'm not going to suggest the necklaces, and we're going to go into other options here. So, brag tag chains, one of the options, okay? I will also mention everything I show you here, all is linked up in a blog post that is linked at the top of this post. So instead of yesterday, I know I mentioned the pin post is where all the links were, and a lot of you are watching this on mobile. And so if that is you, instead of waiting for the pin post to show up or having to go to your desktop, just go to the description once the video is done. Every link you need will be right in there. All right, so another option for your kiddos would be these lanyards. Now, with the lanyards, the nice part about using them is that what I like to do, or tell teachers to do, is to put the little rings on them so that you have that easy open-close option, so the kids aren't trying to fiddle around with those chains, okay? And at the end of the year, they can just take home these, and you can reuse these if you'd like, or send them home. That, to me, would get a bit expensive to send all of that home. But this is another option, okay? A third option, and I dropped everything, so I need to reach down here. And a third option would be these bigger binder rings. Now, what I like about these is you can still display them nicely, hang them on a tack, hang them on a nail or a hook on the wall. What I like about these even more is that the big open-close ring is really easy for kids to manipulate and move. Open and close, super, super easy. I guess if there were any cons to this, I would say that they can't wear them, so that's kind of a downfall. That's about it. These are going to be a little spendier compared to maybe the chains or the smaller little binder clips, but another good option. So, option number 3. Option number 4, and this is one that is actually picking up a lot of steam and popularity, would be the brag tag book. Now, I'm going to preface this with, if you would prefer to store them in a regular plain notebook, that is fine. The reason, if I were to go with brag tag books, the reason I would go with this one is because of what is inside. And I'm going to show you what is inside right now so you can get a good idea if you want to go this route, whether to do a notebook or the actual book itself. Again, everything is linked at the top of the video. So when you open up the brag tag book, you will notice there is a goal setting sheet. And so my vision with this, again, there's a lot of versatility in this, but my vision with this is that you would make one of these per quarter. But again, you can do it however you would like. But they write down their goals, whether it be an academic goal or a behavior goal that they're going to strive to achieve during that time period. And then the other thing it has would be the spot for the brag tags themselves. Now, these are designed specifically to fit the brag tags perfectly, and then you'll notice that the lines on the side there is for them to write how they earn the tag. Now, one thing I will say that I like about these, and here's an example of a page then that would be done. But what I do like about this option is, number 1, you don't have to laminate the brag tags. Number 2, they get to reflect on what they did well and write about it and maybe let it sink in a little bit more on what exactly they did to earn the tag so that maybe they can earn more in that way in the future. And then number 3, when they go home at the end of the year, end of the quarter, they can show their parents their books and they know exactly why they earned those tags. So another option there. Another page inside of here, which I like as well, would be the reflection page. So at the end of the quarter, again, however you do it, they can write, how did my goals go this quarter or this time period? Did I meet them? What could I have done differently so that next time I can do better? So that reflection sheet is powerful. I included some of these just to show you if you don't want the lines for them to write in, there are some blank templates there for them just to glue them in like that. Again, the one big thing with this is that you don't need to laminate the tags, and that is really nice. So anyways, brag tag book. So before, let's see, I'm going to go into showing you some pictures from actual classrooms from teachers that use brag tags. And the first things I'm going to show you are some of the same ideas, but a couple different ones that I haven't shown yet. So hold tight. We just talked about, we got the chains and the lanyards. We've got the ring and the brag tag books. A couple options we didn't talk about were the library pockets and the little keychain ring neck bracelets. A nice option. And then now let's go into the actual storage of all the teacher brag tags. Now, I would like to show you mine, and I don't dare flip the screen yet because I don't want this to all get messed up again. So I'm going to go through these, and then at the very end, I'm going to flip my screen back, and I'm going to show you guys my drawer organizer to show you a few things with that. So some options for brag tags for storing the teacher ones. First, we have on the left, there is a hundreds chart pocket chart. The thing I like about this is that you can see all of the brag tags very easily, and when the kids are getting their brag tags out to put on their necklace, that's very accessible. And then on the right, we see a little craft storage. You can get them at Michael's or Joann Fabrics. They do fit in sideways, but a nice option. Again, those pocket charts and everything I show you is going to be linked in this video. Some other storage options, the left one we kind of talked about. The middle one is actually a jewelry organizer. You can get those at Target. You can get them again at Michael's or Joann's. I think you can also get them at places like Claire's if you have those. So it's a nice option, and it stores nicely. It's got the little hook, so if you want to stick it in some kind of a closet, you could. And then on the right, you see another organizer there. Again, linked in this video. And then the last one you see here would be the drawers. And the one on the right was actually a drawer system that was found in Australia. I just had to include that one because I had to chuckle because this teacher was just determined to find herself a set of drawers, and she ended up finding it. But the one on the left is one I have here, and I'll show you when this video is done. All right, so moving on to displays. These are just more fun ideas. You will see as I quickly kind of flash through these that you will see a variety of different ways to hang them. You've got hooks, you've got pins. Some of these are called swag tags. Some of them are called brag tags. Some of them are compliment cards. Some of them are terrific tags. You can really call them whatever you want. The biggest thing is that the kids can figure out which one is theirs through a name or a delegated number. So those are some things to keep in mind. Just a variety of different displays, kind of fun to see. And then a couple of display options again would be the books, which you can actually display those on the wall as well. I've got a future picture coming. And then another option are the stickers for those that want to entertain that idea. The nice thing about stickers is you could print them in black and white and the kids can color them themselves, or they can just, no glue's needed, they can stick them in a notebook, or they can stick them in a planner, or they can stick them in a folder, but just a nice option. And the brag tag stickers, the paper you're going to want to buy, again, I think it's linked in the description of this video, would be the Avery sticker paper without the lines. They're not labels, it's just sticker papers. So moving on to prep tips. My suggestion, if you can, which is why I wanted to bring this to you guys in June, is to prep over the summer if possible. Because it's not that it's not doable prepping it during the school year, but you know how it is. The school year gets started, and the last thing you're going to want to be doing is prepping anything. So prep over the summer, and your fall self will thank you. You can even take them outside, cut a little bit at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just pick away at it, and it'll be done before you know it. It really doesn't take that long. The other little prep tip would be to punch those holes ahead of time so that when the kids earn their tag, they're not fiddling around with your hole puncher. They can grab it, it's ready to slide on the ring or the necklace or wherever you have them put it. Kind of a comical, no-nonsense approach. This person has her husband using a drill. I'm not necessarily suggesting it. It was just funny. I had to share that one. And then another question I often get is, when you are prepping these, Angie, do you laminate and then cut, or do you cut them out, laminate and cut them again? And my answer is always the same. People are surprised by it, but no, laminate and then cut. I know what you're thinking. Aren't they going to peel? Here's what I'm going to tell you. I can't guarantee that your school laminator is good enough to not peel, but these need to be used for basically a year. The kids are going to take them home in May or June or whenever the end of year's year is. And I haven't had troubles with peeling, and I worked at a school district where it was the first district I worked at, and the laminating film was so thin that if that stuff doesn't peel, your laminating film isn't going to peel, especially if you have a home laminator. So, sorry, I got on my soapbox a little bit about that one. Another prep tip is just to start small. Like I said yesterday, just pick one set that you feel best meets your needs. Print only the tags that you feel are kind of weak areas in your classroom, and just start with 10. Start with 15. You don't have to have hundreds. In fact, I don't recommend that at all. And my number one tip is use those spouses. So this is my husband on the left-hand side. I always like to point out that he does, for the record, have a slight little grin on his face. Anybody else see that? And then his husband on the right, kudos to the wife for giving him a paper cutter. My poor husband didn't get one of those, and I thought, oh no. I felt so bad when I thought, oh duh, that would have been a great idea. Oh, sorry, honey. So moving on, how to implement. So I know that for a lot of you, if you're still watching or you've been with me for the last couple of days, you're thinking to yourself, I'm definitely going to do brag tags, but how? Like, once September comes and my kiddos are in front of me, what do I do? So here's some tips, step-by-step tips. First thing is the obvious. Have your brag tags prepped and display ready for storing them. So again, you see the brag tag books, you see however you want to do it. Just have those two things ready. The next thing is, I suggest printing a parent letter, because the first day that your students come home from school, they are going to be so excited about brag tags, and they're going to be talking about them to their parents, and if there's not an explanation of what in the world brag tags are, the parents are going to be wondering. So this brag tag letter is free on my website. Again, it's linked in the description of this video, but I do suggest sending a brag tag letter home to parents just so they know. The other thing that I suggest you doing is having an anchor chart that lays out the rules of brag tags, okay? And I know that sounds a bit silly, but trust me, the first year I implemented these, I didn't think to have these, and I wished I would have. So you can see, again, this is on my website, but some basic rules. Brag tags are worn in the classroom, so I don't let them wear them to gym or specials or the playground or lunch. I will choose who and when they are earned, so I don't let the kids ask me for brag tags. I have to see the behavior or the action or the good choice, and then I'm the one that chooses to give them what. 3, take care of your brag tags. 4, wear them but don't play with them. I also am very firm with that. If I tell the kids, if I see you playing with your brag tag necklace, I'm going to have you hang it back up. There isn't going to be a warning. I'm going to tell you, hang it up now, and we'll try again tomorrow. They don't want to lose that. So trust me, if they know what your rules are and you're firm and fair and consistent with those rules, they're going to follow them. And then my 5th rule, and this applies to the necklaces, but you put the brag tags on yourself. Friends can help too. That way you're not being bombarded with, Mrs. Olson, can you open my necklace for me? And like I said, they get it. It's not something that is that challenging, and yeah, pretty straightforward. So that moves into the first week of school. Again, be consistent, especially that first week of school, because this is their buy-in time. So basically, this is their opportunity to get excited about brag tags and believe in the system, or not get excited about them. You're going to highlight a few each day. This picture is actually from my friend Diane from One Giggle. She uses brag tags in her classroom, and I do something very similar to what she's doing here. Is I'll stick them up on the board. Each day I highlight a couple of our tags so that they kind of get familiar with what tags we have and what ways they can earn them. And we talk about them, and then each day of the week, of that first week of school, we give out different ones. And so that's just a nice way to introduce them and start slow, and also kind of holds yourself accountable as a teacher, because it's that visual reminder. It's up on the board, and it helps you remember to get it passed out. And then number 3 is get excited, because if you're excited about them, they're excited about them. And if you're excited about them and they're excited about them, the system is going to work. They're going to be motivated by them, and you're going to see a huge change in the climate of your classroom. So again, if you want more brag tag information, we have several posts on my website linked above, and you can find everything you need to know about brag tags. Okay. If you haven't had a chance to grab the free brag tags offered from myself, again, this is linked up at the top of the video. You will see a link to it, and all you need to do is click on it, put your first name and email, send it off, and it'll be an instant download to your computer. If you don't get that instant download, I will email you the file itself. So I wanted to show you one last thing before you sign off, and that is the drawers, because a lot of you prefer to use the drawer systems. And I will say that the drawer system is really, really nice because, well, a lot of reasons. Now, this one is a smaller drawer system. I will say when I first started with brag tags, I started with this one, but I quickly moved over to the 64 drawer, which is the one I'm giving out. Now, the couple things that I wanted to mention was that either drawer system that you choose to use, first of all, you will see on the front of the drawer, all I used to label those would be a brag tag, and I just cut it down so that just the words were showing. You will also see that inside, the drawers are nice and deep, so you can get 2 different sets of brag tags stacked in there. And they can go pretty deep. They do sit a little bit, Kitty Wampus, a little bit sideways, but really, they can fit more than you'll need in a year. So that's that. Let's see here. I like how easy access they are, so when I tell my kids to go get a brag tag out, they can just open the drawer, grab what they need. And then the other thing, I get this question a lot, is how do I attach the tag to the outside of the drawer? And you guys, there's no rocket science way. I literally just use Scotch tape. I suppose you can't really see, but it's just Scotch tape. So that's it. So that's what I wanted to show you, but I didn't want to screw up the video, so I waited. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you showing up